Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in our series, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this segment, we continue to look at questions of our viewers on various aspects of Islam where people have difficulty in understanding them, and we try on the program to clarify these various issues for them. We'll begin the segment with a letter which comes from Brother Manzoor Ahmed, writing from Qatar, Doha. He writes, Respected Sir, I'm going to ask you a question about wearing wigs. So I'm 35 years old and suffering from baldness, and the doctor suggested to me to wear a wig. And I saw a wig which was made from natural human hair, so I was confused about it. So I asked one religious man, and he told me it is haram. At the same time, a second man is saying it's not haram, but not acceptable in Islam. That's why I approach you, your good office, and hope you will solve my confusion. Thank you. Obediently yours, Manzoor Ahmed. Well, the issue of wearing wigs is one in which there is no doubt that it is haram. The first answer which was given to you is correct. It is haram. To say it is not acceptable in Islam, but it's not haram, is a contradiction in and of itself. It's not acceptable in Islam, and it means it is haram, it's forbidden. Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, had stated to a woman whose daughter had lost her hair, and she was a young woman, in order to make her, attractive for marriage purposes. She was losing her hair. They wanted to weave some other hair in with her hair to give it the effect of having more hair. And she asked the Prophet ﷺ about it, and he forbade it. And he said that Allah curses the one who has their hair extended, the hair extensions, which is quite popular today in the plaited forms of the hair, where people work in other extensions to it and make their hair appear to be very long when in fact it isn't. And the woman who does it, as well as the one to whom it is done. And so on the basis of that, and wigs also were mentioned, that the concept of wearing a wig is absolutely forbidden in Islam. There are no exceptions in the matter. The next question we'll look at is a question from some of my lectures. This question is, does Islam negate the existence of life anywhere else in the universe? Well, actually, Islam does not negate life elsewhere in the universe, because Allah speaks about life that we know about, as He has created, and life that we don't know. That there may be life in bacterial life, or plant life, or possibly even animal life anywhere else in the universe. This is quite possible. Now, that there be life forms similar to our life forms, who are intelligent, have the ability to choose between right and wrong, well, this is highly unlikely, in that Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, was described as a prophet to all of the world. And he informed us in detail about the future and about things to come. And if it were that there were other human beings or other beings in the universe with similar capabilities as ours, who would make contact with us, then we would have been informed about it. Now, that there may be other beings who we'll never come in contact with, of course, Allah alone knows, God alone knows, because we don't really know absolutely anything with regards to the universe, except that it will end at some point in time. We will be resurrected, and the jinn, another set of beings that live in a universe parallel to ours, they will also be resurrected and judged. They have a choice between good and evil, as we do, and that much we know. Beyond that, of course, we have our own limitations, and we have to stay at them. The next question, also from one of my lectures, is the question, according to the Sharia, under what circumstances is a woman allowed to travel alone? Is it permissible for a woman to go for Umrah or Hajj alone? And this is about a woman who does not have any guardian. A woman who doesn't have a guardian, meaning that either those who could act as guardians for her, guardian meaning mahram, those males whom she could not marry, she's not married, or she divorced, or whatever, and she has no mahram. In her case, what does she do? Can she travel? Well, if she's traveling for the reasons, of protecting her religion, for example, for hijrah, she's living in a country where, Islam is very weak, and it's very difficult for her to practice Islam there, and she seeks to leave that land and go to a land where Muslims are stronger, where she'll be better able to practice her religion, then for her to travel on her own, if required, is perfectly legitimate. There were women who fled from Mecca in the period of the Hijrah to Medina. Similarly, if it is to seek religious knowledge, she's in an area where there is no knowledge available, it is necessary for her to travel to get knowledge. Again, it is perfectly legitimate for her to do so. In terms of Hajj and Umrah, for a woman, one of the requirements that make Hajj or Umrah obligatory or highly recommended for her is that she have a mahram. So if she doesn't have a mahram, then she is not obliged to make Hajj or Umrah. So therefore, for her to go and do this alone is really not in keeping with the Sharia. Better that she have the intention to do so, and Allah will reward her for that intention. A third question, also from different lectures here in Dubai, can you please explain the terms Fard al-Ain and Fard al-Kifaya in terms of secular education and Islamic education? This is a common explanation given with regards to Islamic education and secular education, that Islamic education is considered Fard Ain, that it is an obligation on every individual to know his religion or her religion. This is based on the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ, seeking knowledge is compulsory for every Muslim. Whereas, there are other bodies of knowledge which are necessary for a community to survive, a Muslim community to function properly. In other words, for example, where women need medical care, that there need to be female doctors, or female dentists, or female teachers, a variety of different professions where it is necessary for females to get this education. This becomes Fard Kifaya for them to do it. If some of the women do it, then it is not an obligation on the remainder of the community. Similarly, for the men, there are certain bodies of knowledge, again, necessary concerning, for example, Islamic banking. How Muslims can save their monies and invest it, etc., in a legitimate way, which is pleasing to Allah. It is considered Fard Kifaya, or an obligation on the community, that some would arise among them and develop some other instrument, financial instrument, whereby the community can protect themselves from the major sin of riba. So where there are necessary areas of knowledge which They refer to here as secular knowledge meaning worldly knowledge. Though, from the Islamic perspective, all knowledge comes from God. All knowledge ultimately comes from God. There really is, we can say there's knowledge which is not particularly religious. It has religious implications, but it's not particularly religious in and of itself. And we call that maybe academic knowledge. Whereas religious knowledge, which we could say is knowledge which is specifically religious, though it may also have academic implications to the society as a whole. I mean, the lines are actually not that clear cut. We cannot really separate things into these two areas clearly. But we say in general, knowledge which has to do with the practice of the religion, this knowledge is obligatory